The Old Testament says that no one has seen God and lived. And how can Jesus? I know.
No one's seen God?
Yeah.
If you go to Exodus 24, verses 9 to 11.
Then Moses and Aaron, Bob and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel went up, and they saw the God of Israel.
They saw the God of Israel.
There was under his feet, as it were, a pavement.
They saw God with feet. Go to Isaiah 6, verses 1 to 5.
In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the temple. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts.
He goes, my physical eyeballs, these physical eyeballs, seeing the King, Yahweh of hosts, in a visible shape, in a visible form, with a visible robe, seated on a visible throne. The Bible's clear. God has been seen, can be seen. In fact, I can give you a case where Daniel sees God the Father and Jesus Christ. In Daniel 7, 9 to 10.
As I looked, thrones were placed, and the Ancient of Days took his seat.
So remember Ancient of Days. And he's seeing him seated. That means he's seeing the Ancient of Days in a visible shape, in a visible body, seated on a visible throne. And he describes what his head is like. Keep reading.
His clothing was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool.
Notice at first he says he saw thrones, plural. But the Ancient of Days is seated on one throne, singular. The other throne is for who? Daniel 7, 13 of 14.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven there came one like a son of man, and he came to the Ancient of Days.
You see that, brother? They're not the same. Son of Man comes to the Ancient of Days, so he's not the Ancient of Days. And I see the Son of Man going to that Ancient of Days who has got white hair and a white robe, so he approaches him. Now finish it.
And to him was given dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom one that shall not be destroyed.
So the other throne is for the Son of Man, because he's an eternal king with an eternal kingdom who reigns over all peoples and whom all nations must worship. So that's why he saw thrones. One for the Ancient of Days, the other for the Son of Man. According to the New Testament, Jesus is that Son of Man. How do we know? Because in Mark 14, 61 to 62, the high priest says, I adjure you by God, are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed? Jesus answered, I am, and you shall see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power, coming with the clouds of heaven. So Jesus just said, I'm that Son of Man. If Jesus is the Son of Man, then who's the Ancient of Days? That's the Father.